So today we're talking about adding a power-up to our game. And what I want to show you is the process of cutting out a sprite from the page that has all the sprites on it and putting that into our game. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the submarine sprite if you want to do that. So let's look at that. Okay, so we say create sprite, but this time I'm just going to call it sprite power-up, because I'm not sure what exactly going to do power-up wise. Yeah. Okay, so this is where it's a little bit different. You go to File, and you do this one, Create from Strip. Click on that, and then say All as Strip, and you get the sprite page. Okay, so let me just go over that one more time. You go to the File menu. Well, you start here with your sprite. Then you click on Edit. That gets you to the Edit page. We don't have a sprite yet, so we need to go get one. And we're gonna cut it out of the sprite page that we have. And that's this one here. It's got all the sprites for the game in there. So you have a lot of cool choices here of which sprites you want to use. Here's the submarine that we're going to do. The submarine comes out of the water and then goes back into the water. The little red dot you might shoot bullets out of. So it's a threat. I'm not sure if you'll be able to blow it up. It's in the water. You could drop a bomb on it if you like, but that's kind of cool. It kind of comes up above the water and then goes back down. There's a ship here that you can cut out that shoots at you if you'd like. Here's the health plane. If you're able to go and crash in the health plane, maybe it would repair some of your damage. Here's a shot that maybe comes from the turret and gets close. As it gets closer to you, it gets bigger. That's kind of interesting. Here's the explosion, or at least one of them. Here's the big explosion.
Wasn't there one where you could take off with it?
Yeah, this one here, you could take off and it gets bigger and bigger as you go up. So maybe it would take off from an airfield and fly along with you, or maybe you have to destroy it. I don't know. The sprite I can't find is the sprites we're using for the player. There's a couple other sprites you could use for the player. There's this one here, and you get the 3D effect because there's a shadow underneath the plane. So you could switch yours to be this sprite instead of the other one. Here's some nice power-up symbols. This just says POW right there. Here's a bomb. Here is, like, these would be like a double shot. So you'd shoot out these things, have more opportunity for collision. Here's shooting out your wings, so those would be the sideways shots. Out your wings and down, and then out your wings, down, diagonally, and then straight out. That would be the one where you have everything. So maybe you could scatter these power-ups around the room, and then they would accumulate. As you get the next power-up, it would add more bullets or something like that. Planes that fly at you and then flip over, that would be like these, I think. No, it's this one here. Flies at you, flips over, and then goes back. That's kind of cool. So a lot of neat options here. If you need a splash screen, right here is good. Nice splash screen. But we want to chop out the submarine. So the first thing you do is you drag, there's a little rectangle here up in the top left corner, and you can drag it where you want. And I'm trying to cut out these ones, the submarines. And again, I would prefer it if you do your own. Maybe you don't have to do this one, but you could do another one. Thanks. All right. So we have the square in the right place, but we need to tell it that we want more than one sprite. We want a series of these. This is going to be our animation. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. So we're going to say there's 6 images. So we put in a 6. And we have one row. I got them going down though. I'm trying to figure out how to do it horizontally. Yeah, so here, images per row, we're going to say 6, and now it has it there. But notice how the boxes aren't quite lined up with the pictures that are inside them. So we need to offset horizontally between the pictures. We don't want to get the little boxes that are around the picture. And I think they're 1 pixel wide. So I put a 1 there. And let's see what that... that's not what I expected, but let's scoot it over. Yeah, so it's still not quite right. Horizontal cell offset. It doesn't seem to work. Oh yeah, separation. That's the wrong one. I'm just changing the wrong one. So we're going to say 1 here. That looks right, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. But now we have to make them longer. And we want to avoid including the line here at the bottom. Last time I tried this, I had this line there. So the image height, we're going to say 96 to start with. It seems like it's 1 pixel short. Maybe not. Yeah, let's just go with that. So now we have the boxes where we want them, and they surround the images, and we have multiple images for the animation. And then we say, OK. And magically, we have our subs coming out of the water. Now, if you look carefully at the subs, you'll note that it starts all the way out and goes down. We probably want it the other way, just to make it a little easier to understand. There's also little waves coming out of the front of the sub, if you look carefully. So the sub is moving through the water. So when you place your subs, I wouldn't place them behind an island or it'll go right into the island. Put your subs someplace else. If you're randomly creating them, it's going to be hard. So I would just set them in a specific location in the room. We do want to remove the background color, so we say where is that? Something called remove color. Erase the color, there it is. We grab the color we want to erase, and we're just erasing the blue. It's already selected that. We say OK. Now, we also want to flip the order of the images. Trying to make this easy. So why don't we just leave these the way they are, and we'll make another one. This would be the going down one, and the other one would be the going up one. Yeah. Oh, you want to reverse it? Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, cool. How do you reverse it?
Go to animation.
Animation? That's here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, cool, cool. So now it goes the other way. So pretty cool. I like this editor because it does the animations pretty good. If you ever need to do animations, this is actually a really good program for that. You can use this editor and then write out the GIF to a file and be an animated GIF. OK, so we'll save that. And this will be the one that goes up. So instead of power, I might call it sub. So we have our sprite. Now we want to create our object. Well, let's create one more sprite. I'm just going to say duplicate. And this one will be sprite sub down. And then I want to edit it again. And we'll use Alvin's idea and reverse it again. Okay. And this will be the down one. Okay. So what should happen when the sub is up at the top of the room? We want the sub to kind of come up and then go down once it's done shooting at you. So let's put one in the room and see what happens when we do that. So I'm just putting it in the room. Again, it would be good to put the sub not behind an island. That would be good. Did I make a sub yet? I thought I did. No, haven't made it yet. Okay, so we're going to do sub up first. And let's just go with that. Let's put a sub now in the room. So here's a couple subs. Okay, so he's frantically going up and down, or just up. Okay. Okay, so again, there's waves in the front of it, so that implies that the sub is moving through the water. Remember too that the view is changing 2 pixels at a time going up. So to make it look realistic, the sub needs to be going faster than the background. So I would give it a speed of 1. I think that's what we need. So in the create event for the sub, we'll give it a speed of 1 coming down. And that will make it look like it's moving through the water, at least a little bit. Now the animation is happening too quickly. You notice how it's just going really fast. So we want to do a change sprite here in the create event. And again, we'll just use the same sprite, but what we're trying to change is the animation speed. And so we want the speed to be less than 1. So I put 0.2 maybe. So it'll take 5 frames to move from one sub-image to the next. Go with that. Now let's watch it, and you'll see that the sub is coming up a little slower. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Coming out of the water, and it's moving through the water. Okay? We do want to make it, once it's up all the way, we want it to stay that way for a while. So we could put an animation end event like we've used in other places. So at the end of the animation, we want to stop the animation from keeping cycling over and over again. So again, we're going to use the sub down is the whole sub, so maybe we use that, and we set the animation speed to 0. Now I'm not going to show you the whole thing because again, this is just a demo on how to cut things out, but you'd have to, typically you'd put an alarm. See how it stays there now, moving through the water? So what you would do here if you're doing this for real is add an alarm here, and after the alarm goes off, then switch it to a down sub, or switch the sprite to a down sub, and then the sub will go underwater again. Well, let me just show you that. It's kind of interesting. So here at the end, we want to set an alarm on the sub. So that's this one. And we want the sub to last on screen you don't want the sub to come back up. You want it to stay down. So I would say maybe 150, that's 5 seconds. We'll set that alarm. And then once the alarm goes off, that's this one. So we say add event, and we say alarm. Make sure you say alarm 0, that's the first one. Okay? And it's here where we'll change the sprite to the down sub. And just like before, we'll set the speed to 0.2. And then at the end of the animation, but we have an animation event already. So maybe we do that. You'd also have you would also have to put some code in here so when the sub goes off the bottom of the view, you want to destroy it. But I'm not going to do that now. Again, this is just a demo. So let's see if it behaves the way we want. Okay, it stays up for a little while and then it goes back down. So that's too long. So I'm going to set the alarm. Five seconds seems to be too long, so let's do 3 seconds, which is 30 frames per second. That'd be 90. Sub comes up, sub goes down. Okay. So you have to play with that timing and see which one will work for you. Otherwise, you have to put animation in at the other end and then destroy the sub, but that'll take a little while. But again, the idea here was how do you extract an image off of the strip page and put it in your game? Okay. Now you probably, just like these planes are doing, are shooting at you. You probably want the sub to do that. So if you look at the enemy target, we could do something like this in the step event. So copy that and add a step event here. And all I'm doing here is I'd like to occur a little bit more frequently, so maybe 50. So it'll shoot more often than the planes do. And we create bullets. Where's our bullet that? Yeah, I guess that's okay. Trying to remember, how did that work? Yeah, I'm puzzled because we had the bullets that actually shoot at you. Target. I know they're shooting at me, but I'm confused about why. Object enemy bullet. Maybe the create event, object enemy bullet. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, I think that will work. Let's try it one more time and see. Okay, here's the sub. Is it shooting at me? Yeah, there's a shot from the sub. Okay. So it'll just come out the middle of the sub where the red dot is. Or you could specify that. If we look at the sprite, see how it's not really the red dot, so we'd have to maybe modify that a little bit. But those are just all finishing touches that you could add. All right? So that's the process to go to the strip and take a look at it. Like I said, you got a new sprite. And say edit sprite, create from strip, choose the sprite page, and then chop it out of here, whatever you're going to do. I prefer you not do the sub one because I just showed you how to do it, but actually do your own. Okay. You can leave that one in there. If you want to flesh it out, I'll give you some extra credit. If you finish up the sub part, I'll give you extra credit on that. Any questions on how to do this? All right.